Hey there, and welcome to the Women Aging Powerfully podcast. I'm your host, Leah Vachani, certified menopause specialist and nutrition coach. Each week, I chat with top experts on nutrition, fitness, hormones, sleep, fat loss, and other crucial menopausal topics your doctor might be skipping over. We simplify complex science into actionable steps for your daily life, empowering you to tackle menopausal symptoms, weight challenges, and boost your overall health. We are not about aging gracefully. We're about aging powerfully. So grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and dive into this episode. Hey everyone, it's Leah Vachani, your host of the Women Aging Powerfully podcast. And I have to be honest with you, I literally canceled my birthday this year, actually told people I'm canceling my birthday, don't acknowledge it. And guess what? It didn't work. And I felt terrible. And apparently, I'm not alone in this. My guest today is Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming, and she's literally a birthday aficionado. That's her thing. She says about half of us are what she calls birthday avoidant. We either dread our birthdays or just don't care about them. But here's the thing. Tamar believes birthdays are actually the most spiritual, powerful day of our entire year. She's written this award-winning book called How to Have a Happy Birthday. And there's also a workbook that goes with it. And it's all about transforming your relationship with your birthday, especially if you're like me and have been basically self-sabotaging this day for years. We dive into why so many of us struggle with birthdays, how childhood experiences mess us up. And honestly, she completely changed how I'm thinking about my next birthday. I might actually plan something instead of hiding under a rock. If you've ever felt weird about your birthday, felt like there's nothing to celebrate, or just don't understand why some people get so excited about aging, this conversation is for you. Trust me, you're going to want to hear what Tamar has to say. Let's jump in. Welcome, Tamar. I'm so excited to have you and especially excited to talk about this topic.
Thanks, Leah. I'm delighted to be here with you today.
So, first question is, what prompted you to write a book about happy birthdays?
Well, I've been paying attention to birthdays for a really long time, starting with my own birthday experiences. I've had some really difficult birthdays growing up. I even write about it in my book that when I turned 18, my entire birthday plan was waiting to receive phone calls from my family. It was my first year at college, my first year away from home. I was the baby of the family, and I'd run home from class and from, waiting for the phone to ring, and the calls didn't come. My family completely forgot my birthday. And that was pretty devastating because that's all I had planned for the day, was just to receive the love and good energy from the people I knew loved me. So that was a really hard moment that kind of woke me up to just how vulnerable we can be on our birthdays when it doesn't turn out the way we hope. Fortunately, 2 years later, I had a really good birthday. It was my junior year abroad. I was living in France. I was turning 20, which is another big milestone birthday. And I woke up that day. I wasn't near anybody. I was on my own. And I said, you know what? Today's my day. I took the day off class. I walked through town. I bought myself some expensive French perfume I could not afford, but I bought it anyway. And I ended up having friends over that evening for cake. And I had the best birthday I'd ever had because I took charge and I planned for it myself. And those two experiences coming so closely together really showed me the power we have when it comes to our birthdays to actually take charge and be happy. Now, the impetus for the book came many years later. A friend of mine, I knew he didn't like his birthdays, but I brought him some donuts anyway to celebrate his birthday. I thought he just didn't like his birthdays because people didn't make a big deal about it. So I showed up, happy birthday, hey. He got really mad at me. He's like, I told you I don't like my birthdays. And I was pretty shocked, to be honest. I mean, he did tell me, so, believe what people say, but the reaction was, there was so much pain in his reaction that really gave me pause for thought. And as I walked away with the box of donuts in hand, he didn't even want the donuts, and I knew he loved donuts. I realized, there's a book here to be written. I think there's something to look at deeper. And that started a whole chain of thinking and observation, not just of my birthdays at that point, but other people's birthdays as well. I started talking to a lot of people. Do you like your birthday? Do you not like your birthday? Why? And I've come to the conclusion that there's this spectrum, this birthday spectrum, where we're either birthday positive or we're birthday avoidant. And we're somewhere along that spectrum. And I actually believe, just anecdotally, I don't have hard data, but that if you were to draw a line down the middle, half the population is on one side of the spectrum, the other half is on the other. And so this is really a self-help book, How to Have a Happy Birthday. It's a self-help book so that people can learn how to take charge of their day, plan for it like it's a major holiday, and actually turn it into something meaningful and uplifting. I believe birthdays are the most powerful day of our year, the most spiritual day of our year. Really important to celebrate.
I never really gave it much thought except personally about my own birthday. And actually, now that I think about it, it's a little bit selfish of me to think that I'm the only one that struggles with this issue of not liking my birthday, which I'm sure we'll dive into. But can we first talk about why? Why is it such a powerful day, both, I guess, for some in a positive way and for others in perhaps a negative way? How does it
Yeah.
have so much power?
Yeah. Well, birthdays, if you think about it, folks, it's the day we began our life, right? We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So our spirits came into our physical body, the clock started ticking, and our life began. I can think of nothing more powerful and more spiritual than acknowledging that day that we began our life. Right? There's a lot of alignment there on our birthday. There's a lot of spiritual alignment on our birthday that we can tap into that's there for us just one day a year. And the reason a lot of us have problems with our birthday, there's a lot of reasons. Some of us simply don't like aging. And if we're women and we're middle-aged or we're perimenopause or postmenopausal, we understand the changes that that brings. We understand that we're no longer the young maidens in our 20s, right? And that can be really painful for us. We have a certain self-image. Society validates us when we're younger, approves of us when we're younger. We get a lot of messages from the culture, as you know, about being younger is better. I challenge that. I defy that. Nobody gets to determine my power and my validity. I'm 59. Nobody gets to tell me that I'm not as wonderful as I was when I was 29. That's for me to decide. That's not for anyone else to decide, right? It's my life. It's me. And so I'm in charge of how I think of myself. Society doesn't get to dictate to me that I'm less valuable, less powerful, less visible because I'm 59. I'm just not buying it. So there's a lot, but having said that, there is still a lot of pressure from society. A lot of women say that they start to feel invisible as they get older. And I've heard that said. And, I actually challenge that. And why I challenge that is that, I also am more invisible at 59 to the 20-somethings that I used to be very visible to when I was in my 20s, right? I think that we actually age with our peer group. I am very visible to my peer group. They are very visible to me. I pay very close attention to people I meet that are in my age group. I love them. I love meeting those people. I resonate with them. And so I don't think we're actually becoming invisible. I think we're just not recognizing what visibility means as we age, right? We're the what do you call it? The lines are changing. The goalposts are changing. So you're still visible. You're just visible to your peer group. And also, I just want to say that being visible, I'm not sure what that really means. And so much of it is, I do know what it means, but so much of it is defined by your own energy and how radiant are you putting your own life force out into the world? Are you taking charge of your life? Are you happy with your life? Are you feeling healthy in your body? Those are all sort of charismatic signals that help make you more visible to the world around you and certainly to your peer group. And those things that I just said are all sometimes hard to come by. Sometimes it's hard to be healthy in the body, right? Sometimes it's hard to feel like you're living the life you want to be living because maybe you're not. But those are still things to look at. And the birthday gives us the time to check in with ourselves and say, am I living the life I want to be living? And if not, what can I do about it in the coming year? I'm not talking about the 5-year or the 10-year plan. I'm just talking about in the coming year, what can I do to create and live the life I want to be living for myself? You have that permission to do that, and the birthday gives you that permission.
Yeah, I think I can understand now why it's a time to reflect. And if women, speaking specifically to the women going through perimenopause or in menopause, there's so much shifting that feels out of our control. I know a lot of women are not excited. They're struggling to find something to celebrate about themselves because maybe their clothes don't fit anymore. They don't feel sexy. They don't feel attractive. They might be experiencing brain fog and not being as clear and concise mentally, which might impact their work and maybe their marriage. And there's so many factors that are rising and coming to kind of a head during that time that I can see why it could be a struggle. So
For sure.
How do you deal with that?
For sure. And I went through perimenopause. I went through menopause. I completed my menopause at the age of 48. Life got so much better after. I'm so glad there's so many podcasts and people like you raising awareness about perimenopause. You think you're going nuts. You start getting anxious and emotional and you can't sleep. It's like, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on until my acupuncturist told me. And I was so grateful I had a container to put it in. Otherwise, you think you're really going, your brain, the brain fog, all of that. Life got a lot better once menopause hit. And the thing I want to say about menopause, which is really wonderful, that I noticed in myself, and I hope your listeners notice it in them too. Yes, I lost things, right? I lost skin elasticity, right? I lost that right? In the way that I had it when I was younger, but I gained a lot more intuition. I got more emotionally tuned in. I would not go backwards. I would not go backwards to get my premenopausal body and system back. I wouldn't, because the person I am now postmenopausal, the power that I feel, the connection with my intuition, the I don't care what people think about me the way that I did years ago. I mean, I still care to a point, but not that much. I'm not a people pleaser as much as maybe I used to be at a younger age. So those are all wonderful, liberating elements to coming through your menopause. And so I just want to flag that for women who are going through perimenopause right now. When will this end? I promise it will end, and you will feel better on the other side. You know, the menses is like a river that flows. And when you're a girl and you cross the river, you enter your menstrual years. And when we're women and we cross the river again, we leave menses behind and we become postmenopausal. And so, but it's a powerful river, whether you're a child or whether you're a grown woman, that when we cross it, the changes are equally powerful, just in different ways. So I really acknowledge that and honor that.
Yeah, I like that analogy. That's powerful.
Yeah.
So I might just bring up a case study for you now.
Okay.
to kind of figure out how we can talk about this in actual tangible terms. And for my audience, I will be a little vulnerable here and share that I am one of those people that actually really hate my birthday, to the point where I was kind of talking about this earlier with you, Tamar, before we recorded, but I didn't actually tell you to the extent. Like this year, I literally canceled my birthday.
Oh, wow.
I told everyone I'm canceling my birthday. And I think it was a protective measure, you know, so that I wouldn't get quote unquote more hurt.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work. It didn't protect me. And I still felt all the feels.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wondered if like you could use me as kind of an example or a case study, because I can't be the only one that feels this way.
No, you're not. You're not. And that's why I wrote my book. I wrote my book for people like you, for women like you, who deserve to be celebrated and acknowledged and venerated one day a year. I mean, I want to ask you, what were some of the feelings coming up before your birthday that made you want to cancel your birthday? Was it a fear of being disappointed? Was it a fear of being let down? Was it a fear of being overwhelmed? Was it like, tell me more from that vulnerable place so that we can unpack it.
Yeah, as probably like many of my listeners, it's complicated and complex, at least in my opinion. And I think it started when I was a little girl, and my birthday coincided with fishing season opener. So of course my dad would take off, and it was usually almost that day. Plus it shares Mother's Day. So I never really felt, you know, like the day was mine. And I would imagine people that have a birthday on like Christmas or New Year's or 4th of July, whatever, maybe feel similar. I'm not sure. But as I grew older, it's almost like I made excuses why people wouldn't want to celebrate. Like my 18th was on the season finale of Seinfeld, so now I'm dating myself. But, you know, I was like, no one's going to want to go out. So I didn't even plan anything. And then it's a kind of a roller coaster of excuses with me. And I want to acknowledge that COVID hit in 2020. That was my 40th. Oh, well, the world's against me, you know, victim mode. I turned into victim mode. And then as the last few years have come around, it's another excuse. It's, oh, well, May is a very busy month. People can't celebrate. They won't want to do that. And almost kind of halfway planning something, and then when no one can do it, oh, see, no one wants to celebrate me. It's a mixture, for me at least, of victimhood, excuse making, trying to avoid disappointment, but still feeling it. And I'm sure there's a lot more to unpack there, but that's kind of what I've come up with so far.
That's massive. Everything you said, 100% yes to everything you said, for explaining why you don't like your birthdays. And what you said initially is that it started in childhood. And that is what I have noticed. A lot of our birthday avoidance starts from pain we feel in childhood. Because listen, we know that our birthdays are special. We know it. And so we expect to be special. And when our parents or our siblings or the people around us don't treat us special, it's like, wait, I have this expectation of being glorious on my birthday and being treated that way. And you're going fishing, you know, or we're going to go celebrate Mother's Day. And what about me? Yeah, messages. And we're sensitive when we're children, and we're extra sensitive on our birthday. We're like anemones that shut really fast at the first sign of any kind of emotional disappointment and pain. Because, you know, any day of the year is one thing, but it's our birthday. So we learn at a young age to just shut down the heart, shut down the expectation, go into defensive mode, go into victim mode, understandably, and just start to replicate the messaging that our birthdays aren't important, they're not worth celebrating. We actually self-sabotage our birthday joy that, we get good at that, right? Like keep away. And so the good news is that we don't have to do that anymore. Once we understand where the birthday pain comes from, just like any pain, right? Once we understand what the genesis is, we can start to let it go, maybe do some healing work around it. And then just say, okay, I'm going to take a different attitude about my birthday moving forward. I realize that my birthday is sacred. My birthday is the one day a year to put myself in the center of my life. And this is important for women in particular. We tend to be caretakers, people pleasers. We tend to think of other people first. Who wants to think about me? Your birthday is the one day to think about you. You have 100% permission. Everybody will give it to you. You get to put yourself in the center of your life on your birthday and say, okay, for my birthday, this is what I want to do. And you plan for it as if it's a major holiday. One of the ways we sabotage our birthdays is we don't plan for them. We wake up, we don't have a plan, or we call friends, they're not available. See, nobody wants to celebrate my birthday, right? It's the last night of Seinfeld. We had VCRs at the time. They existed. They could have taped the show,
It could also be that we're waiting for someone else to plan.
Yes. How much do you love me?
Yeah.
You will prove your love to me by dropping everything and moving the moon and the stars for me. I've had that. Show me how much you love me. You know what? I care more about my birthday than anybody else, and that is how it should be. You need to care more about your birthday than anybody else, and that's how it should be, right? It's your day. Therefore, you're in charge of making it happen. So you plan for it as if it's a major holiday. You start thinking about it at least a month in advance. If you want to go to a fancy restaurant, you got to make those reservations. If you want a spa treatment, you got to make those reservations. Set yourself up for success. And you got to take the day off work, if you can, or of your normal responsibilities. And if you can't take the entire day, take the morning, take the afternoon, but make it a sacred day, just like you take the day off for Thanksgiving, usually, right? Take it off for your birthday. It's one day a year. And if you're planning in advance, you can inform work or your clients that you're not available on your birthday. Just say, I'm not working that day. You don't even have to tell them it's your birthday if you don't want, but you can just say, I'm not working that day. So let's plan around that. You get to do that. And then you get to decide, what do you want to do? Do you want it to be social? Do you want it to be solitary? Do you want it to be active out in nature? Do you want a road trip? Do you want to go shopping? Do you want to have lunch with girlfriends or high tea? Like, what do you want to do? Let yourself imagine what you want to do. And if you're planning far enough in advance, you can invite the people to join in with you. And some people can make it and some people can't. If they can't, it's not personal. It doesn't mean your birthday's not worth celebrating. It just means they're going on a trip that day. They're not available. But for the friends that you invite to participate, and maybe as you think of your next birthday, Leah, given how vulnerable this topic has been for you, maybe just invite some of your most closely trusted friends to join you. Because I can imagine that opening up your heart to yourself on your birthday might have some emotion come through, that you want some compassionate friends with you, celebrating you, almost like hugging you and nurturing you as you allow yourself to celebrate yourself and love yourself. Because birthdays get to do that for us.
Yeah. And another thing that came up for me, Tamar, and I think this is probably a struggle for many women, is that it's really hard for some of us to find it. How do I even say this? It's so hard to even say because it sounds so like I'm undervaluing myself, but like I don't have any reason to celebrate myself. There's nothing to celebrate here. Where does that come from? And how do we get past that?
I'm so happy. I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'm so happy you're expressing that and sharing that, because so many women feel that way, right? And it's not true. It's a lie we tell ourselves, right? And and no one can talk you out of it. You're in charge of you. You've got to talk yourself out of that. You do matter. You're worth celebrating. And if you have to write down a list of all the ways that you are valuable and loved and cherished and worth celebrating, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and write a gratitude list for yourself. The things I'm grateful for about myself, the things I love about myself. And also, here's an activity that I think could be quite powerful for you and for your listeners. It's from Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. She has a Substack column on Sundays, and she posts these letters from love, a practice she's been doing for 25 years, where she sits down with a pad of paper and she says, "Dear love, what would you have me know right now?" And she allows love to talk to her in the most loving and nurturing voice. And if you allow love to talk to you as if love were a loving presence, what would love say to you? And it's amazing what can come through. It's amazing what can come through it. And using that as a simple writing exercise to get out of your fear and out of your head and out of your self-resistance and your victimhood and your self-sabotage, get out of that, right? Push that away. We know that that can exist at any time. Let's bring love in. What does love want to tell you? Let love talk to you. And you can say, "Dear love, what would you have me know about celebrating myself on my birthday?" and let love use a term of endearment for you, and let love speak to you. And I promise you, tears might flow as you start to hear love talk to you, just how valuable and important and meaningful you are just by being you. You don't have to have won awards or earn millions of dollars a year. There's no external signposts that prove our worth. We are worthy just by being born. We are all miracles. We all deserve to flourish as we are and to celebrate ourselves on our birthday, acknowledging that we're all special, miraculous beings.
I'm thinking it would be really cool to actually give yourself those notes for the next year too on your birthday as kind of a gift.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what do you think about buying yourself gifts in general?
Oh, the first time I bought myself a gift was when I turned 20. And like I said, it was a fancy bottle of French perfume. I was on a student budget. I couldn't afford it. But you know what? I bought it. I had my eye on it. And I'm turning 60 in January. And I was just in France. And and it's the 40-year anniversary. When I turn 60, it'll be the 40-year anniversary. And I went looking for that bottle of French perfume, and I bought it for myself. I hadn't bought it since I was 20, but I bought it again. So
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. And it's like, it makes me feel so good because it was the first time I actually gave myself something that I wanted. And I love the idea. And I love that we buy, one of the things I suggest is go buy yourself a birthday present on your birthday. That can be one of your birthday activities or outings if you want. And the reason that's so important to buy yourself a present is because it allows yourself to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to give to myself? Some of us don't even know.
That's a really hard question. I was just going to say, so many women don't even know.
I know.
They can't answer it.
I know. But it can be as simple as a new coffee mug, right? It doesn't have to be a big, expensive. It could be just something that you give to yourself that maybe you've always wanted or that looks good to you. And maybe you don't know. Sometimes I will go shopping for my gift. I love antique shopping. So I'll go to the antique store and it's like, I don't know what I'm going to buy. I don't know what's there, but I'll see the thing and I'll buy it. And then that will always represent my birthday present to myself for that year. So I think it's part of the fun. Go find something to buy for yourself. It's a fun birthday activity. Or if it's like you always wanted that fancy bottle of French perfume, go splurge on yourself and buy that. Allow yourself to give to yourself. And maybe before your birthday even comes, maybe 6 months before, start saying, what do I want to buy myself? Keep your eyes open. Allow yourself to have permission to give to yourself. And it's a very powerful act of self-affirmation and self-worth that I promise you, if you do it on your birthday, it'll start to plant seeds for the rest of the year. Not that every day is going to be your birthday, because I don't think every day is your birthday or should be your birthday. You get one day a year, and there's a certain energy and magic to it that you access and you feel when you let yourself open to it. It's transformational. It's radiant. And so, but learning how to put yourself in the center of your life on your birthday and buy yourself something you want helps you practice doing that in the rest of your life for the rest of the year.
Tamar, you talk about aging like it's like next level. Like I'm reaching level 60 next year. Like it's a joy. It's you're vibrant. You're excited. Not all of us have reached that level yet. So you talk a lot about embracing age as helping us to live better. But for some people, birthdays are just a reminder of like, oh, there's one more number, it's creeping up. How can you speak into that a little bit?
I can. So, for me, turning 60, it's a big deal, actually. I don't feel like I'm middle-aged once I turn 60. I'm not going to live to be 120, so I'm sort of past those 40s and 50s, and it's a big deal. The thing for me that's notable about turning 60 is that there's less time ahead of me. And so, 10 years from now, I'm going to be turning 70. I don't know that I'm going to want to go hike Machu Picchu when I turn 70. I don't even want to hike Machu Picchu now at 59. But this idea of like, if I want to travel, if I want to write another book, if I want to go dance in the sand barefoot, right? These are the things I need to do now. There's less time ahead of me. And that's what it's actually a gift that age gives us. As much as we don't want to think about our death and the end of our life, believe me, if you don't think about it, you do not want to wake up and be 75 one day and say, what the heck happened? My life is behind me. I need to catch up. And then I don't want that, right? I do not want that. I do not want my life to pass me by. And I hope your listeners don't want their life to pass them by either. And that's why as we age, as you mark your age, yes, today I'm 45. Today I'm 52. Today I turn 59 or 60. Those are all markers to invite you to step more intensely and more fully into your life. Are you living the life you want to live? I'm going to suggest to you and to your listeners something pretty significant, actually, that if you don't like aging, chances are because you're not fully fulfilled in your life at the age you are right now. And that's okay. That's okay. But if you're not fulfilled, do something about it. You are in complete control of your life. I know we're married. I know we have kids. I know we work. I know we take care of parents. I know there's certain things we can't control, but we can control our attitude about it. And there's a lot we can control, right? You are in control of your birthdays. You didn't have to cancel your birthday. You were in charge of that. So taking charge of your life to make it be the way you want. Stop people pleasing. Stop thinking like, oh, I have to take care of everybody else. And I want to make an important point. A lot of us are wired to be of service to others, right? We feel nurtured in our soul through our profession, through our parenting, through our friendships, through our community work, to be of service. That's beautiful. That's different than being a people pleaser. And I really want to draw that distinction. People pleasing is when we don't even know what we want. We don't even know how to give ourselves what we want. We just care about making other people happy, that's our job. And it's really a denial of ourselves. And it's not fair. It's not fair to ourselves to put other people first. They get to put themselves first. No one's looking out for me. The only person who's really looking out for me is my husband. And even then, it's not his responsibility to look out for me. It's my responsibility, right? If I'm getting dehydrated and he's like saying, have you had enough water today? It's very nice of him to ask that question, but it's still my responsibility to take care of my physical body, to make sure I'm drinking enough water, right? So it's the same with life. I'm a creative person, and if I feel stifled and flat creatively, whose responsibility is that? It's mine. If I feel like I'm not happy in my body, it's not feeling good, whose responsibility is that? It's mine. So it's really about taking charge of your life. Your life is your own. You're in charge of you. Easier said than done, I know, but it's true. It's still true.
Yeah, it goes along with the saying that I've heard from various experts, like only you are in charge of your happiness. No one else is in charge of it. No one else is in control of it. It's just you. So like you said, it's easier said than done. What could be some first steps for someone that is really struggling here?
Well, the first step is use your birthday as a portal to step into a day that is special for you. Everybody will allow you to be special on your birthday. Everybody. You go buy yourself a cup of coffee and tell the person behind the counter it's your birthday. They'll probably give you the coffee for free after they light up and say, happy birthday. Everybody's happy for other people on their birthday. It's natural because we all get that same day a year. It's an equal opportunity provider, right? We all know that. So there's no envy. So start with your birthday. Start thinking about what you want to do to celebrate your birthday. I know you just had your birthday come and go, Leah. So you've got some months ahead of you, but it's okay. You can start thinking about it. Let it be a practice of self-care and self-nurturing and self-exploration. What would I want to do on my birthday? What would be fun? Who could I invite? Allow yourself to expand past the limitations that you've had before. But I also think that, I was on a podcast recently and they were talking about self-love and it's like, you know what? Self-love is a big thing. Like, don't worry about self-love. Worry about self-like. Do you like yourself? Start with liking yourself. Do you like your own company? Do you like your sense of humor? Do you like your attitude about life? And if you don't, change it. I mean, sense of humor, you can't really change. But if you find that you're going through life judging here's something I learned a long time ago about judgments. I used to be very judgmental and critical in my head. Like, oh, what's she wearing? Oh, look at her and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I felt really vulnerable to other people's judgments. Like I felt insecure. I felt like, oh, people are judging me. And then when I finally got to a more positive headspace where I wasn't judging other people, I might notice, but I wasn't judging. Guess what? I was immune to other people's judgments. I was far more confident because I wasn't generating that energy outward. So if we can have a more pleasant mind space, a more pleasant conversation on the inside, turn down the microphone of the self-loathing, turn up the microphone of like, hey, I like you. Let's hang out. Let's be friends. Start to form a more positive relationship with yourself and then turn that volume up on your birthday. Go take yourself out. Go take yourself out to buy a birthday gift. Come on, friend, let's go shopping. It's you. It's your inner friend, right? I remember once I was very young. I was probably 20 and I was up in the middle of the night doing something. And I told a joke in my own head and I got the joke. And it was the first time I realized like, oh, I get it. I've got I've got the best sense of humor with me, right? Like I get my own jokes. Like how wonderful is that? To be with yourself and enjoy your own company because you get your own jokes. That's the kind of relationship that we get to nurture. And as we nurture and nourish that, we're going to start to blossom in ways we haven't blossomed before. And we get to use our birthday as that portal to really turn the volume up on the self-celebration, the self-enjoyment, and experiment, practice. Turn it into a practice, right? I mean, let's have you practice next May to have a happier birthday. Just even have a happy birthday, but just let's see what that looks like. And I want to touch base with you afterwards.
Yeah, no,
I want to see how that is for you.
I'm down for that. I'm going to take it all on. Now, I have a follow-up question on that because I know that someone's going to ask me this, like, why didn't you ask her? what if your birthday falls on a major holiday that you're kind of expected to be with
Yes.
family or whatever? Like, what
Like
comes to mind is
Christmas.
Christmas, for
Yeah.
example.
Christmas,
Can
Thanksgiving.
you like take your birthday and celebrate it on a different day? Does that work? Does that alter your spiritual portal?
Yeah. So, people who have birthdays on Christmas or New Year's Day or the day after New Year's, I mean, they have challenges. There's no question. Mother's Day birthdays, Thanksgiving birthdays, Easter birthdays, they vary. They vary. It's not, you didn't always have your birthday on Mother's Day. It
No,
would
it's like
happen
every
maybe every
5 years or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
I actually think that when your birthday falls on a holiday, major or not major or minor, use that holiday as symbolism for you. You chose to be born on that day for a reason. What could that, what does the spirit of Christmas represent to you in your life, right? Whether you're Christian or not, it's still a beautiful source, right? There's still a beautiful source to the holiday. And so what is that? And what can you encourage within yourself just spiritually to align with the message of each holiday? But if your birthday, let's say, falls on Christmas and you want to have a birthday party, which you have every right to do, you're going to need to hold that birthday party possibly a week or 2 weeks in advance in anticipation of your birthday, not after, but building up to your birthday. And then when Christmas Day comes and it's your birthday, and yes, you're with family and there's gifts and all of that under the Christmas tree that has nothing to do with your birthday. That doesn't mean you still can't have your birthday celebration on Christmas. And you should. That is your day. That is your portal of spirituality and presence and power of the day you began your life. But here's what I recommend. Much in the way that we decorate our house for Christmas, let's decorate the house for our birthday. So put up a happy birthday banner, create a birthday altar. Maybe you bought yourself a gift before Christmas and you wrapped it so you get to open it on Christmas Day, your birthday gift. Obviously have time for cake. Christmas festivities come and go, and then let's have cake. Maybe the evening of Christmas, the evening of the 25th becomes like your birthday time for your family. And you're going to have to ask for support with that. And also, we know a lot of friends are not going to be available to celebrate. That's why you had your party 2 weeks earlier, or maybe you had a series of events. Maybe you had a luncheon with some girlfriends and a high tea with others and a dinner. You figure it out. It's up to you to figure it out, but do not ignore the day itself. It is the most powerful day of your year. The alignment is there. And if your birthday's on Christmas, wow, it is turbocharged. Yes, you got to compete with baby Jesus, but that's okay. You still have your place.
Oh my God, I love that. So I guess, is there anything we could probably continue this conversation for hours because there's so much that we left on the table, but maybe it's covered in your book, which I do want you to introduce. But before we go there, is there anything we missed that you're just like, ooh, I really need to tell them about this? Or we didn't talk about this?
No, I just want to say that everybody, all your listeners and you, deserve to have a happy birthday. You deserve that. And if you just start with that one day a year, I promise you it's medicinal. It's medicinal. And so I encourage you to allow yourselves to celebrate yourselves one day a year. And in so doing, actually, it will make you a more healed person. It'll make you a kinder person. And that heals the world, one person at a time. Really.
Yeah.
Start with yourself on your birthday.
On that note, tell us a little bit about your book, because I think it would be the perfect next step for a lot of people like myself.
Yeah.
Who want to kind of dive into this a little bit
Yeah.
more.
So my book is called How to Have a Happy Birthday. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, howtohaveahappybirthday.com. There's an audiobook. There's an ebook. There's no reason for you not to get this book. It's all there for you, right? And it's a self-help book. And we talk about, I dive into why it matters to celebrate a birthday, ways we sabotage our birthdays. The birthday blues is chapter 2 right there because it's such an important thing. And we do sabotage our birthdays subconsciously. We ignore them. We don't tell people. We get into fights right before our birthday with our partner. Just conveniently, we start picking a fight a day or two in advance because our emotions are so high and we don't know what's going on. We don't know how to place it. And then when we get in a fight, well, I can't have a happy birthday now, right? So self-sabotage is pretty powerful once we've wired ourselves to not have a happy birthday. So I talk about all that in my book. And there's also a workbook, the How to Have a Happy Birthday workbook. You can get that on Amazon, and it's also the questions are in the back of the book. That helps you dive deeper and ask, what happened? Why don't I like my birthday? What are some of the issues I have around aging? And then what can I tell myself differently about that? So it dives, it's a self-help book. This is not a book about how to match your cupcakes with your tablecloth. It's not that kind of book at all, right? This is some serious stuff here.
I need that book too, though.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots of those. And I'm sure you do a great job matching your cupcakes with your tablecloth. But, it's really about diving deeply and understanding and empowering you to take charge of your birthday so that it can be happier than it's ever been.
Yeah, I love that. And you also have, so in our show notes, we're providing a link that people can go and grab your learn 5 ways to create joy on your birthday. So that would be a really good starting place. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then also, Tamar, can you tell us can we find you on social anywhere?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to howtohaveahappybirthday.com, you can find all my social links there. It's author.tamar on Instagram, Facebook, all of that kind of stuff. But howtohaveahappybirthday.com is the best place to go to. You can also contact me there. If anyone's interested in birthday coaching, like it would be a 2-session situation. I don't have that on my website, but I'm letting your listeners know, kind of like what we did today.
Ooh, an
Like we did.
insider
Yeah,
knowledge.
exactly. Contact me and we would do 2 sessions, about an hour and a half before your birthday, exploring what the issues are and what you could do and how you could prepare. And then an hour afterwards to debrief and figure out, okay, what did we learn and how can we put that into practice for next year? So I'm available for that as well.
Well, I love that we covered this topic because, as my audience knows, a lot of our topics are usually like, oh, what do you do about cholesterol and hormones and diet and sleep and all that, which is all important. But I think, especially as I get older, I recognize that how you feel about yourself and how you feel inside, how you love yourself is critical. You can't diet your way out of happiness or unhappiness.
No,
And
you
so
can't.
this topic I think it's super timely for me personally, because I have now 11 months to think about my next birthday. But for everyone listening, I really encourage you to don't wait another day. Like, start thinking about this now, taking action, doing the things that you can do so that your next birthday is joyful and happy, or at least being on that path.
That's right. Happier than it's ever been, right? And, try your best, learn from it. And, there's tips in my book, like don't schedule a serious doctor's appointment the day after your birthday or a big presentation the day after, because you're going to be nervous about it on your birthday. Like, clear the decks, right? Give yourself the time and the space. And so there's all sorts of ways that this book helps support your birthday joy. And I love it, Leah, that you're saying that you're recognizing that self-care physically. I just heard your podcast about bile. Like, I'm all into that. I'm like, oh, I want to learn more about bile, and that's a very physical thing. That's different than the emotional. But we know that the body, mind, and spirit are connected. The emotions are key. And that health, especially as we age and become postmenopausal, we have to be feeling good inside about ourselves so we don't manifest illness as a way of, just manifesting. Let's manifest joy.
I love that. And I'll leave one really fun tip that I just thought of that kind of marries both of our worlds together. Is that, if nothing else, sing to yourself on your birthday, sing a happy birthday song, because singing and humming actually activates your vagus nerve and calms everything down and puts you in a really good, calm state, of receiving state. It's amazing for your health and your happiness. So if nothing else, sing.
I love that. That's great.
We'll end on that note. Tamar, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Leah. It was a pleasure.
Hey, lovely listeners. Before we go, remember, this is just the beginning of our journey together. If you're excited to explore more about hormones, weight loss, and stepping into your power, check out leahvachani.com to see how you can join me in thriving through menopause. And don't forget to stay connected with me on Instagram at Leah Vachani for daily doses of laughs, inspiration, and insights. Until next time, stay fierce and fabulous and keep owning your journey wherever you are in the world.